Hi everyone! I am back with another Booktube video. It has been so long since I filmed a Booktube video. I've been away pretty much every weekend. I get married in 33 days. So the wedding and honeymoon planning has been insane. But I have been watching tons of Booktube still, thinking about making videos. I have a huge list of ideas I want to get to, and hopefully in 33 days things will settle down and I can get back in the flow of booktubing. But I've missed making videos so much. Also, I have been on Booktube for 1 year, which is crazy. I can't even believe that I've been making videos for a year. I just want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. I'm so grateful to have met so many amazing people and really formed so many connections. I think the biggest thing about the Booktube channel is not the subscribers or even making the content, but it's being able to connect and get close to so many amazing booktubers. I feel like I've made so many genuine friends. Before I would watch a lot of Booktube and I felt like I had a lot of these parasocial relationships, whereas now that I'm making videos myself, I feel like there's so many booktubers that I genuinely refer to as my friends in my day-to-day life. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching and commenting and all of your support the past year on Booktube. And I thought I would honor my 1 year Booktube anniversary by filming the mid-year Freakout tag. This was my second video that I ever posted on Booktube, and it was the first video I ever filmed. So yeah, it's been 1 year and we're back with the mid-year Freakout tag. I have not been reading a lot this year. My reading goal, I'm like 12 or 13 books behind on my reading goal. Similarly to why I haven't been filming, I've just been so like mind-blowingly busy. So yeah, I haven't been reading a ton, but I will do a little catch up on what I have been reading. All right, I'm just gonna dive into the questions. So the first question is favorite book of the year so far. I picked a fiction and a nonfiction. I read about 50% fiction and 50% nonfiction, and I just can't make them compete. I love them both so much. So I'll start with my nonfiction favorite, which is American Sirens by Kevin Hazard, the incredible story of the Black men who became America's first paramedics. This is the story of the Freedom House medics. They are the first paramedics in America, and this is an insanely good story. Even if you don't have an interest in medicine, I studied to be a paramedic, and my fiance is a paramedic, so I obviously have a special interest in this subject. But I think even if you don't have an interest in paramedicine, this is an absolutely insane, groundbreaking story. These men have been completely forgotten, and the work that they did for paramedicine and street paramedicine, like, it's unbelievable. They had a ripple effect on the entire world, and this is a story that no one talks about, and it's so interesting. So yeah, I can't recommend this story enough. It's well written, it's fast paced, it follows a really great cast of characters. So yeah, I highly recommend American Sirens. And then my fiction favorite was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I read this because I wanted to get ahead of it before I watched the movie adaptation, and I thought that it was amazing. Fun, funny, lighthearted, emotional. I loved all of the characters, and I just really enjoyed Project Hail Mary. So yeah, that's been my favorite fiction read so far. Number 2 is the best sequel so far. I have not read really any sequels this year. The only one that you could even constitute as a sequel is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. B.K. Borison writes series of romances that I wouldn't necessarily say are sequels, but the characters are all kind of tied together. So And Now Back to You is the sequel to First Time Caller. First Time Caller is kind of like a Sleepless in Seattle. There's a guy running a radio show, and then there's a woman whose daughter calls into the radio show and she becomes a guest host, and they're trying to find her love. I thought that book was okay, but I really liked And Now Back to You, which was about two competing weather hosts. So there's a weather radio host and a weather TV host, and they kind of have like they're not enemies, but they're kind of like workplace rivals almost. They annoy each other, and it follows their story. Really loved this. And yeah, I'll keep reading more in this series from B.K. Borison. The next question is a recent release that I'm looking forward to reading. That would be Land by Maggie O'Farrell. I love Maggie O'Farrell. I will read everything that she comes out with, and Land sounds like it's right up my alley. The next question is the most anticipated late 2026 release, so something that isn't out yet that I'm looking forward to, and that would be The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy Pham. I love the channel Read with Cindy. I've been watching her for years and years, and I think that her taste in books and my taste in books are very aligned, so I'm sure that her book is going to be right up my alley, and I'm really excited to read it. My biggest disappointment was Wild Thing, A Life of Paul. I think it's Goggin. I gave this 2.5 stars. I read this for the Booktube prize. I was reading the nonfiction category, and I was excited to read it. I'm not particularly interested in Paul Gauguin, but I am interested in art. So I was excited, but I just found it extremely boring. There were so many chapters that like I had to force myself to get through them. I think that's another reason why my reading stats for the year are so low. I think I'm at 26 books for the year. Yeah, this was just a slog. It was really boring. There were some chapters that were interesting, especially his cross sections with Vincent van Gogh were really interesting. I found his early life interesting, but yeah, the book was a slog. I mean, I think that a good nonfiction book, even if you have no interest in the subject matter, you should be able to pick up the book and find it enjoyable. And I would say this is not the case for the story at all. I cannot recommend it. So yeah, that was my biggest disappointment. My biggest surprise was This Story Might Save Your Life by Tiffany Crum. This was a book that my boss handed over to me. It's not a normal genre that I read. It's a thriller story about two people who start or who have a murder podcast. Or it's not a murder podcast, it's a podcast about like crazy stories about like near-death experiences. And then one of the podcast hosts goes missing. I thought it was really gripping. I didn't see the end coming. I really enjoyed it. I read it really quickly. And yeah, I didn't think I would like it, and I loved it. So that was a big favorite for me. My favorite new to you author, so an author that I read this year that I hadn't read before that I really enjoyed, Beth Macy. I read Paper Girl, again for the Booktube prize, and it was about her story growing up in rural America and then moving away. And I thought that it was just extremely well written. I was super interested. I think that she reflected the experiences of people who live in small town rural America really well, and how those that live in bigger cities can't really understand or don't know how to relate to them. I thought it was really well written, and it reminded me a lot of my experiences in Northern Ontario, Northern Canada, and how people just truly don't understand the experiences. Yeah, really enjoyed it, and I would love to read Dope Sick by Beth Macy. I think is her biggest story that people would know her from. So if you've read Dope Sick, let me know in the comments if you liked it. The next question is new favorite character and new favorite crush. My new favorite crush is Ryland Grace from Project Hail Mary, mostly because it's Ryan Gosling. So every time I picture Ryland Grace, I picture Ryan Gosling, and I've watched too many edits on TikTok. So yeah, big Ryland Grace fan. And my favorite character is Rocky. Love Rocky, ride or die Rocky fan. The next book is a book that made me cry. That would be Little Women. I absolutely loved Little Women. I think I may have finished this at the very end of 2025, and then I read Marmee, which is an adaptation in 2026. But overall, I just absolutely loved this story, and yeah, it made me cry. It's super emotional when Beth dies. Yeah, it's very sad, made me cry. A book that made me happy, I just finished, and that's Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This was, again, so fun. One of my best friends gifted me this at my bachelorette party. I read this in under a week. This was just so fun. It might be one of the funniest books I've ever read. It's like a little over the top, a little campy, but it's, yeah, hilarious. I thought this was a really good time, and I highly recommend this if you need a laugh. The next question, again, I merged two together. So the most beautiful or coolest cover, I picked Trespasses by Louise Kennedy. I just love this cover. I think it's so pretty, and I love the pink text over top. And yeah, I just think it's a really unique, pretty cover, and I love looking at it. The next question is books that I want to read for the remainder of 2026, almost like my TBR. I have a couple. So the first one, oh yeah, this is exciting. I changed my honeymoon location. So I've mentioned, I think on the channel before, we were planning a trip to Scotland and Ireland, and abruptly, thanks to an Anthony Bourdain video, we were inspired to quickly change our honeymoon destination to Namibia and South Africa. So I'm going to be doing some overland camping in Namibia and South Africa. I'm really, really, really excited. If you have any book recommendations that are written by or take place in Namibia or South Africa, please let me know. But one that I really want to get to is Africa is Not a Country. And it's this great nonfiction book that reviews almost every country in Africa and talks about their unique heritage and also current culture. So I'm really excited to read Africa is Not a Country. I also want to get to this summer The Compound by Aisling Rowell, I think. It's kind of like a reality TV show thriller that I really want to get to. And then in the fall, I want to get to Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is the oldest book on my TBR, not oldest by pub date, by oldest, like this has been on my TBR the longest. I really want to read this. I've heard great things. I read the Poppy War trilogy and I also read Yellowface and I enjoyed both of them. So I really want to get to Babel, but it is a chunker and I just never managed to get to it in the fall. And I don't really want to read it in the winter or summer because I think it's a true like dark academia vibe. So I'm hoping to get to this year as well. And then the last question is favorite booktubers that I've been watching in 2026. I am subscribed to like probably over 100 booktubers that I love watching and that I love engaging with. But I will just name a few off the top of my head. Ellen at the Ellen Made Book Club. Her videos always make me smile. And I always pick up books from her channel that are not on my radar at all. Normally in her videos, she talks about books I've never heard of. And so I'm always adding books to my TBR from her channel. Caitlyn at Spill the Reads. Yeah, I love her channel so much. She's probably become my closest booktube friend. Her videos are always creative, fun, interesting, and I love doing buddy reads with Caitlyn. Mark at Riff Raff's Reading Renaissance. I love his channel. He has so many ongoing series that I'm really interested in, and he always makes me feel included and part of the booktube community. Another one, Tracy at Tracy's Nordic Light. Her channel feels like a cup of hot chocolate. I always feel so warm and connected to her videos. They're so cozy. I just absolutely love Tracy. She has such an incredible warm energy, and she also makes me feel so included and supported and part of the booktube community. So I love Tracy so much. And the last one is Nana_reader. Her videos are fun, they're short. I always love her shorts, always make me smile. I love her content and it's very quick, snappy content. And yeah, I love her. I think she's really funny. So those are my 5, just like the first that came to my mind of booktubers that I enjoy watching. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm hoping to put up another few videos. I missed booktube videos so much, so I'm really glad to be back. And yeah, let me know in the comments, what are you reading? What have been your favorite reads so far of the year? And if you have any recommendations for me, please let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll chat later. Okay, bye.